Hey everybody, Tony here with a lesson for this week on Theta, or better known as time decay, when it comes to trading options contracts. This is going to be part one of a three-part lesson for this week. This first part, I'm going to briefly go over what Theta is. The second part, I'm going to go over what Vega is. And the third part, I'm going to go over implied volatility and how Theta and Vega coincide with implied volatility. So, the meat of this week's lesson is I want to talk about implied volatility and the importance of that. But to kind of understand implied volatility and how it works, I first want to go over Theta and then go over Vega, and like I said, then introduce how those two affect implied volatility and vice versa. So what is Theta? Theta essentially is time decay, and it tells you how much the price of an options contract, how much of that options contract will decrease for every day that the strike price is not met. Theta increases each day it gets closer to that expiration, or whatever expiration you pick for that specific contract. And the Theta curve, depending on, in the money, out of the money, or at the money contracts, drastically changes as it gets, and nears that expiration date. So I have a few, I typed this up myself and then just kind of pasted it here into TradingView. But you can see this Theta decay, this curve, where it starts here at 90 days, and this is time until, those contracts expire. You can see not a whole lot of decay. 60 days out, decay starts to increase, and then 30 days out up until, that expiration date, that decay curve, like I said before, drastically starts to increase. Here's a graph that shows out of the money, in the money, and at the money contracts, and that decay curve for each. We can see this is our out of the money curve, our in the money curve, which is a more steady decline, and then our out of the money, or at the money contracts have the highest rate of decay as we near that expiration date, whatever that may be. And here's another one that shows in the money versus at the money, that those at the money contracts have a very rapid decay, and the most noticeable decay as they approach that expiration date. So like I said, going to keep this short. Wanted to talk about Theta, what it is and why it matters in, options contracts. And I have something in my notes to just kind of break it down as, as simply as I can. So Theta is higher for shorter expiration contracts. It's higher when the implied volatility is higher. Like I mentioned before, the decay for Theta is the largest, or, increases the most towards the expiration date for out of the money contract, or at the money contracts, and the Theta decay rate increases as that expiration date approaches. So, and a quick example I have for, how to calculate Theta. Let's say stock whatever is $10, and it has a Theta of 10-15 cents. Each day that contract moves closer to the expiration date and that strike price is not met, in theory, that Theta number is how much value that contract will lose. So, like I said, if contract XYZ is $10, the Theta is 10 cents. Every day it doesn't meet that strike price and moves closer to the expiration. In theory, you lose around 10 cents of the value of that contract. So, like I said, not going to continue with this too much longer. Wanted to make this short and to the point. Part 2, I'll be going over Vega, and then part 3, I will be going over how Theta and Vega coincide with implied volatility and why implied volatility is so important with options contracts. So, like I said, I hope you guys tune into part 2, and I will Talk to you in a minute.